Hello my beautifuls, welcome to Cosmic Love Tarot. Okay, the reading today is going to be different. It's going to be so different. I'm going to do a couple of cards later, but I want to talk first. And you know when you feel that you've put some, like it's like putting another jigsaw in the puzzle and you're starting to see a bigger picture to something. Well, that's how my day's been today. I had a channeled message and it still represents all of my last readings over the last, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 readings, I think, because I think I've been having like the odd week in between. So it feels like it's still the same energy, but it feels as if it's piecing something together. Now, one of my readings, it was, and I can't remember which one it was now, it was about going deeper. It's about the ascension. It's about oh god, I've just been in a josh stick and my nose is already starting to itch. Let me put it on pause and I'll have to take it out. Okay, I'm back. I had to take it out the room. Okay. Yeah, it's so weird. As soon as I started lighting it, my nose is itching again. Yeah, so where was I? Crikey, I forgot now where I was. Since that disrupted me. What was I talking about? I can't even freaking remember now. Completely distracted me. Do you know, this is quite strange because I wrote a lot of stuff down just for a little bit of guidance for me of what I want to talk about. And when I started getting my stuff ready, things kept on affecting me, as in the smoke alarm went off because I was burning a candle. And they're so hypersensitive, it's so annoying. And so that was one thing that got me quite anxious and wound up about. Sorted that out, got myself sorted out again, and then my cat started scratching at the door to come in. My cat does not like any doors closed. So she comes in, has a sniff around, and then scratches the door to go back out. So that's another thing. Then it was my josh stick. So I just took that out. And now I forgot what I was originally talking about. It's like something is trying to stop me from talking about what I need to talk about. And it makes sense to me. So whatever I talk about, I just make it quite clear this is from my own interpretation. I'm not saying it's factual at all, so don't rip me apart with that. It's just something that I got today that represents me. It represents my life experience. And if there's anything that with what I'm going to say, if it represents you in any way, please share, because it's I'm finding this intriguing, really interesting, and it's like it's put another puzzle, another puzzle, oh crikey, another puzzle to the piece for me. And it may also feel the same for you. Okay, so before I start anyway, let's ask Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron to clear away any negative energies. No smoke alarms, negative energy, and bring in positive love, light and protection for us all. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so what I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to be talking about dyslexia, and I'm going to be talking about ADHD and also indigo children. And then I want to do a card pull on ADHD and indigo children from the Gateway of Light Activation and the Star Seed. And yeah, so first I want to go to dyslexia, because this really represents me, definitely. Now, I'm 65 this year, so I was never diagnosed with dyslexia. And I always had problems at school. And And I would have also been classed as the troublemaker or the one that don't pay attention, and all of that. And so I was always in trouble with, the headmistress, and back in my days you get the cane and stuff like that, so that was my experience. Now, it wasn't until I was at college and I was training to I was training to be a counsellor, and when every time I had to do my essay, I absolutely struggled with it. I struggled in starting. I didn't know how to start. I always got the ending, or I got the middle piece. I got it in my head, but I just couldn't structure it, and I didn't know how to start it. Now, my tutor said to me back then, if you struggle, start from the bottom up, work your way up. And so I started doing that. I'd either start in the middle going down and then jump into the beginning. And it made so much sense. But my mind just could not grasp the beginning because I always saw the bigger picture to it. And so that was my first major conflict. And he did ask me as well if I was dyslexic. And I never understood any of that. I never heard of that either in my school years. And I didn't really look it up until I was working for, it was called Youth Support, YSS it is, so it's Youth Support Services. And I used to work with people who was on licence, that's come out of prison, was on licence. And a lot of because I had to do their CVs and stuff when they was on licence. And a lot of them had dyslexia. And they were giving me their symptoms of what dyslexia is. Now, I was never aware of the different symptoms to it, or to what extreme, or on what spectrum. Didn't understand it until I started looking into it. And it made sense to me because when I used to write an essay, I would describe, if I was describing something, I would describe something at least 3 times in that essay from a different perspective, and that's not what they was asking for. And I always needed to simplify it, and I always found it extremely difficult to do. And there is a reason for this, so please bear with me. And I always found that really difficult to do. And so that was a bit of a bugbear with me, and it's always been a bit of a bugbear for me most of my life, with basically in creating my own business, for example, selling myself. I can't even write down exactly what I do because I don't know what I do. It just seems to be, I just know at that time when I'm working with people. So I can't actually say or pinpoint exactly what I do. And it's always been a problem to me. So everything that I've qualified for and done and got certificates for, I've never done much about it. So I'm a diamond crystal light practitioner, qualified. And to be qualified, you'd have to give proof and knowledge of your insights to the 12th dimension. And that's easily done for me, but I don't stay there. And that's why in my bio on YouTube, I will explain that I work from 5D to 3D. It's like that bridge, that gap, bridging that gap. I understand mental health. There's a lot of stuff that I was led to in my lifetime of different things. And it's like mental health and spirituality. And I've always been led to the 2 things of understanding the 2 dynamics, okay? And that's been through all my work in life, through all my support work and everything that I've done. I'm even qualified as well as a hypnotherapist, suggestive therapist that is, but it doesn't interest me. I'm interested in past life regression. And because we live in a Western world, everything consists of qualifications, of paper to say you are qualified. And basically, it really is a load of crap, really, because it's your own it's your own natural abilities that you are tapping into. But in the Western world, you have to somehow prove it. And so I've always struggled with it. I'm just like, oh, I just can't be bothered. Can't be bothered. So I've got that qualification, can't bother to do it. That don't interest me. But I can naturally tap into the soul. I can naturally just tap into when somebody is struggling in the here and now. But I can feel what that problem was, what created that problem, and what they brought that problem into this lifetime from past lifetime or past experience. Okay, so what happened is then, I was talking about in one of my readings that it's about going deeper into this ascension, because if you're resonating with this ascension, and it feels as if it was a purge, it was a purging, and it didn't feel like my purge as such from my past experience, because I've learned a lot in this lifetime. I'm absolutely convinced that my soul anyway had requested to work through all past traumas and to work through it in this lifetime. So for me, it's been quite traumatic. And so I've done a lot of deep soul healing, and I understood and I learned a lot of mental health and also spirituality. Okay. So, oh crikey, where's I going with that? It's still with me now, this energy. So it's like, and I do talk fast when this happens as well. Where was I going with that? Crikey, can't remember. So I can't remember. It's really weird. Right, okay, so let's go with the soul. Yeah, because I was on about my past experiences, so everything was all brought into this lifetime for me to work through. Now I'm not condemning this at all, but it was just a choice that I made for myself not to go on to any antidepressants. It was just something within me that knew that I needed to really feel the pain to my personal experiences, and they were losses, like my son died, abusive relationships, homelessness. It was loads of stuff that went on, and it was like there was something within me that needed to not just whip off the plaster to see what the cut was, but to look what created the cut, what created the wound. It was something within me that I just knew that I needed to experience and understand the emotion that's attached to the pain that I've experienced. Okay, because it's the emotion that's always been suppressed in our 3D world, in the Matrix. And this is what I teach. I teach about the suppressed emotion. And it's only through those emotions that you're really tapping into your higher consciousness. You're really tapping into your intuition. You're tapping into another realm completely when you're tapping into your emotion, once you've healed the emotion. Now we're going to be working more, it's more based on the human art, and the human art, nothing at all in the Matrix or with the icons, or, you know, the demonic entities that will try to destroy the human mind and to block the human emotion, because the aim is to completely close down the human heart. Okay, and I feel that this is where I've always been drawn to the 3D and the 5D, but we're caught in that 4D still density, but it's a bit of 3, it's a bit of 5, and it can be quite confusing as well. It can be quite conflicting. So today, it was quite random, as it normally is for me. I decided to put my YouTube on my phone on my TV. And what popped up was a guy called Alex Collier. So you may already heard of him. I have heard some of his work, and he's really an amazing guy who does a lot of work with the higher consciousness, and also extraterrestrials. Okay. So anyway, he was talking about basically the belief system, and he was talking about the belief system is to enslave the soul, okay, which we know this because that's part of the matrix, it's part of the programming, and it's to keep us in that 3D density of fear and control. Now, those of you that is awakened to that, it's seeing past the illusion of that, but we're still caught up in it, which can be quite difficult when you're still in the matrix. We are the matrix, we're in it, we can't get out of it. Now the matrix, the soul, for example, is even though the soul is born onto the earth plane in physical, the soul has memories of many, many, many past lives. You're going back millions and millions of years. So you can imagine how much information the soul carries. And as soon as the soul is ascended into the body, as the saying goes, when you ascend back into body form, because it's a constant reincarnation, the body or the memory goes through the river of forgetfulness. That's a nice way of putting it, really, but it's the program, it's the matrix. So we go through the forgetful of what you've lived in the previous life. I don't fully accept that, only because we still carry the human art, and the human art still carries that forward. It's an emotion, it's a feeling. And so I do believe it's through that unconditional love, even though we don't feel unconditional love, through past experiences, through pain, through heartbreak, through loss. And but the art still is there, and we still experience these feelings of thoughts, feelings of suppressed emotions, because they're all about past experiences. So right, okay, so when we're born to we have a name, we have a date of birth, we also have a national insurance number, and we're governed by a belief of culture and whatever else goes on with that. And that belief keeps us really down in that 3D density. And so it becomes extremely difficult for the mind, because the mind has become programmed to access what has been suppressed in the emotion. Once it understands what's suppressed in the emotion and work through that heartbreak or that trauma of whatever's been accumulating in that past feeling in the solar plex area, it belongs then to the self-worth, the self-love, the self of belonging, and it also accesses the heart frequency. Okay, so let's get on to this dyslexia. Right, I was listening to Alex Collier, and Alex Collier was saying about dyslexia, and he said that the souls, people who are diagnosed with dyslexia, are the souls that's come down from evolved civilizations like Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt came up in my reading, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and that's when I was saying about looking deeper. So it caught my eye, and I thought, this looks interesting, I'm going to listen to this and check it all out, because I always have to check things out. And now he was saying, when somebody has when somebody's got dyslexia, he said that the only way that they can cope with the 3D density that they have is to look at everything in reverse to where they came from, because the matrix is the inverted of the truth, like looking in the mirror. So the point that he's saying is, it's like, and I can see me in this, It's like seeing the bigger picture of something. So say if you're writing something, or you've intuitively picked up on a frequency of something, and you can't process the here and now. It's very difficult to process the here and now because you're already on this big awareness of this connection of what's going on, say in the room. Say if there's a room of people. Yeah, let's go this way. There's a room of people, okay? And you are picking up the energy of this collective of people that's in this room. And you can feel the frequencies from each person and where they're at. Now, let's just say you're all in a conversation and somebody in that group ask you the most simplest of question that goes on in the 3D. It could be even spelling something, or even to express what you do or what you do. And you can't do it. It's very difficult to do it. And people can see you as if, God, are you stupid, or are you thick, or whatever. But you're not looking there. You're not looking in that 3D. But you understand their soul. You understand why they are in that group. You understand what all of them, and why all of them is all connected, and why they've connected, and what they're going to learn from that connection. So to you, to spell something means nothing to you. It's trivial. It's just a word. It's a spelling, a spell. You pick up on a frequency, and that's what dyslexia do. It picks up the frequency of that word, but not that word. It picks up the vibration of it. And that's what dyslexia do. Now, that makes complete sense to me, because that's exactly who I am. That's why I've always struggled with writing essays, or writing reports, or selling my work. I've never been able to do it because of that reason. And my readings can take me from any kind of vibration, but it will still all connect in. And anybody with dyslexia can do that. They can bridge the gap. They can place the jigsaw in the picture to form the bigger picture. They understand the picture. They understand all the bits of puzzles that from experiences that they've put in to form that picture. It's like they're moving from different vibrations, different frequencies, different timelines. They can shift wherever they choose to shift. But the hardest thing is to go into that density of 3D and staying in 3D, in conversation, in interacting, in manifesting something in the 3D. It's difficult to do. And I find it really fascinating with this, because I can relate to it with my own personal experience. So he said that when writing, they have to keep on breaking down words, what they know, and to see into the words that would be understood by simplifying the words, because it's all about frequencies. So the dyslexia, anybody with dyslexia, sorry for talking fast because I know that I am here. Okay, with dyslexia, it's like that. I can just visualize this funnel of that you're here in this higher consciousness. You understand what you want to say, how you want to say it, but that's not what people want to know at that particular time, or if you're writing it or trying to manifest it. It has to be simplified to catch the mind. It has to catch the mind, to catch the interest, and to grab it for them to understand it, and then you work up. But it's very difficult for people with dyslexia to go down to the bottom to work up, because they're coming from the top to work down, and it becomes very frustrating, very difficult to do. It's so challenging to do it, and you have to keep on breaking it down until it's understood in just from a 3D mindset, and it's very difficult. Okay, so Yeah, so I found that really interesting. So if you are diagnosed with dyslexia and you find that difficult to not only spell but also to structure something or to produce something in the 3D when you are seeing something from a 5D, let's say, for example, you know the outcome to it. You know also what will and what can create the outcome to it, but you still can't get to the beginning of it. It's like me starting an essay. I cannot start an essay. I cannot sell myself at all. And it really is frustrating. So when I heard that, I thought, God, that is so friggin' interesting, because I did not know that. Now, with dyslexia, I don't know if you're diagnosed. I don't know what if you're on medication with it. I don't know. I've never been tested. I'm not on any kind of medication whatsoever. But I can definitely relate it to my own personal life. And now when he was talking about the inverted perception, because the inverted perception is about how the world is experienced. It's an upside down. It's an upside down reversal of a dramatic altered. It's like an 180-degree visual perception. So a dyslexia will see things from a 360 angle. They will see it from a higher consciousness, from a wider scope. They'll see the bigger picture to it. And so when they're trying to describe something or start from that 3D, they have to cut it by half and show it as like a 180 degree. So people can understand it. They can understand it. They also will find mental health also difficult to understand as well, or confused with it. Medications can also confuse that. Yeah, my throat's getting itchy again. Okay. Now, in my meditation and what I was getting, I mean, it was just like, you know, when something hits you and then you go, oh my God, that makes so much sense. That really confirms what I've always struggled with. And it doesn't matter what experience I've had professionally or the qualifications I've got. It's always been a struggle to me. It's always been a struggle to me to spell, to see things in the most simplified of ways. Even when I am an holistic therapist, and I also work with people in recovery from addiction. So to simplify things, I try and do that the best way I can of how it is, but it's still deep. It's a deep way of seeing it, seeing something, seeing past the mind and tapping really into the emotions, the suppressed emotions, because it has to be balanced. And the bridge is the human heart. Okay. Also, what I got here is the past, present and future. And I've always felt that the past, present and future has always been more, it's like, it's just one moment, one present moment. I'm sure you already know this anyway, but just sharing it, it feels pretty liberating for me just to share it. Past, present and future, it's all rolled into one. It's simultaneously going through different timelines. So there's you on many different timelines. If you go the 12th dimension, it's a different timeline. It's like you can connect your soul back to, you can connect your soul back to Atlantis, because just in that present moment you are in Atlantis. That's your past, but it's also your present. It's also your future. It's like that. It's the 360. It's the completion of the whole. And it's like, even through my own meditations, or even through my own readings, my tarot card readings, I can relate to a lot of it, because of course I'm part of the collective, and it could be something that I'm not in that energy when I'm doing a reading. It's not my life experience in that moment, but it was once, because it's about frequencies. I can understand the frequencies to it. And that is why when you get drawn to a tarot card reader, and that tarot card reader reads a specific way. I'll give you an example. I got drawn about 3 years ago, I think it was, to a tarot card reader that reads more on energy and reads more on it just connected to me on the 3D, and but it was still to do with energy, and I got that, but I always struggle with 3D. But it was like I felt on that frequency, oh my god, this person can really see me. But of course he couldn't see me, I was just on that frequency. But it was that frequency that really helped me in my 3D to create something that I've always struggled to know how to create it, because I struggle on the 3D to create. And so I manifested it. It just felt right. But it gave me the guide. It was like a guidance for me on the 3D. Right, do that, 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 that. And I did. And it created what I wanted to create. And so, and it made me question then, how come I got really drawn to that? And how come that really played a massive part in my change of what I needed to make in my 3D? Because I felt stuck. I didn't know how to start something. So that's the point that I want to make. It depends on what frequency you're at in that moment. And it feels as if you can shift in frequencies at any God-given time. And, you know, it can happen at any time. You can have an outburst of an insight to a much higher vibration. And then you can move back down into the 3D. Because something in the 3D or 4D that needs to be looked at, something that needs to be looked at that's been locked in that suppressed emotion, that needs to be released. But it can only be seen when you reach in a higher vibration, higher consciousness, to recognize what's been blocking you in the 3D, 4D density. Okay, so and it all clicks into that. It all clicks into that inverted perception. Not quite seeing. It's like, how can I describe this? It's like listening to a tarot card reader, and just in that moment your frequency matches that reading, and so it resonates with you completely. And it might feel to you, oh my god, this person can really see me, this is my story, I completely resonate with this. And then let's just say a month's time, and you go back to that reader and that frequency doesn't match yours at all, because you've moved somewhere else just in that moment. Your energy is somewhere else, your frequency is somewhere else. And it could be, let's just say, on a six vibration. And so you connected into another reader, and that reader may be talking about let's say Metatron, talking about that vibration, maybe talking about alien source energy, and that's kind of is catching your attention, and you think that's interesting. I intuitively feel that I should know this, I should understand this. It's because you are. Because all in that moment, that frequency that you are on at that given time, that was important for you to know that message, whatever that message is, for you to understand your message, what your higher conscious is trying to tell you. Because the soul is trying to give you a message that for you to remember what the soul knows. Because you're going past what the mind has been programmed you to think, okay? and you've gone above the mind because you've gone on to the 6th vibration. So you're above the mind, but you still need to go back to the 4th and maybe the 3rd to work through something that belongs to the belief system, but it also belongs to those suppressed emotions that's been created from the past trauma that's happened in this lifetime or been brought from past lifetime or past lifetime. It's all simultaneously on all different timelines. So this is what I was getting. Now the next thing that I got, how long has it been going? Okay. I always try to talk fast because I don't want to go really way over. If I do, I think I'll stop it and I'll start again when it comes to the cards. Okay. Right. So then I started to question, after learning that about myself with the anorexic, with the, oh, Jesus Christ, Wendy, with the dyslexia. Okay. I then started thinking about ADHD and the indigo child. I've always known that they are both the same. I've always known this, and I've always known that ADHD belongs to part of the program, but the soul is still the same. But the program, one has been inverted into the program where the other one hasn't. So let me explain this. I was, at some point, some years ago, I was a mentor working with children in a high school who was disruptive in class. And so we went in to work with them on a one-to-one. And I'm very intuitive, and I really connected in with these kids. I mean, they're classed as ADHD, they're labelled as ADHD, so they became a problem in the class because ADHD children can't sit still. They get bored really, really easy. But talking to them on a one-to-one, and they're extremely intelligent, and they have an amazing gift, and it could be anything, but it's in the age group that I was working with. They're mainly more involved with IT, computers, and that is our future. So just bear with me with this for a minute, because it's our future. So these children that's born into the 3D density, my question is, I wanted to know how similar then is ADHD and indigo children. And I also I've questioned, because I've questioned my own upbringing, my own, like my family. It could be my family, my culture, everything. You know, I just knew that I wasn't born into a spiritual family, and I was always left on my own with my own intuition, my own spirituality, and I was always very hypersensitive, and it made me quite angry, and got me into trouble when I was a kid, because I didn't know how to work with this energy, what I could pick up from people, and it made me question when I was an adult, why was I born into a family who wasn't really spiritually minded? And the same goes for ADHD and also indigo children. It feels as if these souls come down onto the earth plane and veered, and it's like it's been divided and split. And so these souls, say ADHD, was caught up in the matrix. They were caught up with families that was quite toxic families, toxic upbringings, very traumatized in different ways. Never really had the chance to so family members or parents or cultures, whatever it was like just a problem child. You are a problem child, and it was just created then from you are a problem attitude, and it was to do with the mind, and so it kept just in the mind and be programmed for the mind in the matrix. with the indigo childs on this side of that scale is they were born into already spiritually minded families, so that they can enhance their own spirituality, and also to work through their own sensitivity. But they both had exactly the same issues. And so I looked into it, and I want to read these out to you. So please comment if you can relate to any of this. Some find it interesting. Okay, so ADHD, they were medicated. Okay, so the medication is about inducing the hyperactivity. Okay, the indigos are not medicated at all, and they are to explore their own sensitivity, or the hyperactive activity. Okay, now both of them on both sides of that scale struggle with authority, rules, and the program. Both of them have heightened intuition. Both of them are intense in energy, in thought, and both have heightened knowledge than the average child. Okay? Both of them have high energy and restlessness. Both of them are rigid in authority figures and rules and regulations. Both have a high creativity and a unique thinking patterns, and both need individual hands-on learning. Can you see where I'm coming from with this? Can you see how the Matrix program knew that this was going to happen? They knew that these souls, it's like I called it a batch some years ago of souls. I don't know why I call it a batch. It's just the word I got from my spirit guides. And it's like there's certain souls that comes through at certain points. It could be of the I was born in 1961, and I think the Indigo Children was around that time that was born. And you're born into that. For me personally, I was caught up into that program. Okay, even though I just knew it was like I had that inner light on. I just knew why I was born into that family. I just knew it. And I knew that I was different in many ways, but I didn't quite understand it because I'd forgotten my soul. My brain was not letting me to remember. It took time, and it took tower moments for it to be accessed. Okay. And where am I going with that? I told you I'm going off on a tangent here. Wow, where am I going with that? It's terrible when you're going off on a tangent when it's a channeled message. No, can't remember. Oh yeah, I got it. Thank you. Right, so you have the indigo, then you have the indigo. You have indigo, you'll always have indigos and problem children. I was classed as, and I could have been classed as, the problem child, because when I was young, I was angry. I got into trouble with the police. Mine was fighting when I was a kid, because I didn't know how to deal with my emotions. I was hypersensitive. When somebody was telling me something, I knew it wasn't true, or they would accuse me of something when I know that wasn't true. It could be absolutely anything. And I never knew how to deal with my emotions. And I've had to do tons and tons of inner healing with that. So my inner light was already on for me to recognise that anyway. But at times I couldn't recognise it. But I would have been classed still as oversensitive child, a problem child, a bad temper, angry, and I've always been labelled that way. And I'm not an angry person, but I recognise that I have been an angry person. I don't know how to deal with my emotions without my hypersensitivity. And on my own personal reflection, I remember playing with two Pacific people, two Pacific children my age, who turns out to be really highly respected in as spiritual teachers. And so that made me question in my adulthood, how come I didn't know that? Because we never talked about that. We never talked about, I know my experiences as a kid, seeing ghosts and feeling spirit, but I never knew the difference between a ghost and a spirit. I didn't know what was going on at night time when I was, and these vivid dreams I used to get. There's loads of stuff that went on, and it was scary. It was really scary, and I never knew how to explain them as well. And so these two friends would have had that as well, but they must have had that support when they were kids, because they turned out to have a great spiritual gift, to be a great teacher worldwide. And it made me question that, and I thought, oh my God, that's amazing. And so it kind of like filters through this matrix of souls that's been put into certain families for a specific reason. It was still important for me to be in that particular family anyway. There was a point to it, and that was for me to understand mental health. It was a point for me to understand the mind and the emotion. Loads of things that's gone on in my life that still had to happen. It still had to happen for me to understand who I am today. So, right then, where was I going now? Yeah, so I have seen young little children, say for example on TikTok, who is so, and their parents are videoing them, because the stuff that those children are coming out with, it's amazing. And they are the indigo children, but they will still be children at that kind of age group that are born into certain families that's toxic, that's got mental health issues, that's, you know, got other traumas that child will have to deal with. But there'll still be a reason why they were also put into that family environment, to learn maybe a specific thing. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is, to learn a specific thing, so that at some point in the future, all of this information will be gathered as it carries on through lifetime after lifetime. Because it's understanding the mind. It's breaking down the illusion. It's like being called the black sheep or the troublemaker in the family, in the culture, and because they were going to be highlighting the truth. So they got an harder task to do. When you're born into family, non-spiritual, non-enlightened family, or culture, or schooling, it can be absolutely anything, but you're caught up in the traumas of it. So yeah, so I can see how the Matrix has been trying to keep us all in that lower density of fear and control. But the divine, it's happening anyway, because they're being reborn. It's like the Ascended Masters are being reborn for this specific moment, to recapture the memory of the souls, to remember. So where I want to go with this now, I want to go with the gateway of the light activation. I want to go with working with the energies of the ADHD and also the indigo, because I really honestly believe they're exactly the same, but their upbringing, everything, the lessons will be experienced differently, but the soul is the same. And then we will work with the bridge, the challenges between the two, and what they have to go through. So if any of this is relating to you, then yeah, please comment. I'm finding this bloody fascinating, because I've never managed to really piece it, and then it just came to me, and I just thought, oh my God, that makes sense. That makes sense for my own life experience. Okay, I had to put post-its on here because I've never done it this way at all, never. So, okay, we're going to go with the energies first then of the situation. The energies of the situations of where you are with things. So with ADHD first, where you are with things. With oh, hold on, let me think. No, we're just going to go with one card. Okay, so the energies of both, because it's still one soul as such, when you look at it as a collective or as a whole, as one collective. Okay, collective consciousness, and then divided when it reached the 3D physical density. Okay, so from a higher consciousness, the soul itself, what energies of the situation where you are with things, the art of source. I said it's about the human art, the spiritual art. Wow. Okay, the other one is what you need to know. What you need to know. What you need to know on both sides, ADHD and indigo. What you need to know, because it's to do with the soul, and that's what the gateway of the light activation is about. It's about the soul. What do you need to know? What do you need to know? ADHD and indigo. The sword of light. What do you need to know? Okay. And I'm going to read it from the book because it's really important, I feel. I feel really excited with this because, you know when something just starts to make sense, and then you have this massive flashback to your own life experiences, and professionally and personally, and the challenges that you've had to go through, and then all of a sudden everything makes sense. And it's like, wow, that makes sense. It's like you had snippets of all of it, but you didn't quite put it all together, and that's what it feels like to me. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna, because it's nearly an hour, I'm gonna stop this, and then I'm going to start with this reading on the next video, so it will be a follow-on from this video. Okay, please comment on this one, because on this video it will be about ADHD, about indigos, and also about dyslexia, and because it's all to do with the mind and it's all to do with the soul, and I'm finding it extremely fascinating right now to what I'm discovering, and it is all part to do with the matrix, of course it is, and also about the divine. So it's the opposites again. That's what my readings have been about lately. So yeah, please comment if you've got any insight to this. And like I said, this is only from my perspective and from my experience. And yeah, so please share yours. I'll see you in a bit.